So welcome back to another episode, and welcome back to some initial impressions on some games I've been playing over the last few days. One of them is Lost Sphear by Square Enix. The other one is Shadow of the Colossus, the PS4 version, the remaster, the remake from the ground up. And I can't wait to get into some of these. Let's start off with Shadow of the Colossus on the PS4. I just want to say, first of all, I'm playing this on a PS4 Pro. Looks phenomenal, but let's start at the beginning. I remember picking up Shadow of the Colossus in 2005, 13 years ago. I picked up the PS2 version, and at the time, I remember me and my friend Gary, who was over here, we were just blown away by the size of the Colossi. You know, coming onto the screen, we're like, oh my god, look at this thing. I remember the first time I chased one down, I couldn't believe that it took up the entire screen, if not more. And then also you're climbing on its back, and I'd never seen anything like that, and I want to say something about Shadow of the Colossus that I've never had a chance to say. I think this is not only a game, it is a great painting. This is a work of art, and goddamn anybody out there, you know, Siskel and Ebert that said video games weren't art. They are 100% art. It's incredible, and this game, with its atmosphere, open world, where you can go anywhere, I fell in love with it. It was a very simplistic, complicated game, but gorgeous to look at. And back then, the PS2 version was amazing, even in standard definition. But then in 2011, we got this, the Ico Shadow of the Colossus Collection. This time, the game was presented in 1080p, which looked beautiful. And I thought, it's funny, at the time, I'm like, man, this game can't look any better. They can't ever do better than this, because at the time you think the graphics you're looking at are the best of the best, where who'd have thought 7 years later I would be playing on the PlayStation 4 Pro Shadow of the Colossus again. How is it again? If you like Shadow of the Colossus, you're going to love this. They've remade the game from the ground up, and as I initially started to say, it is absolutely gorgeous looking. I was just marveling just at the opening cinematic, and I thought, look how far we've come in quite a few years here. It's amazing. And you know, one day we're going to be playing the PS6 and going, holy cow, look at it, it's photorealistic at that point. But at this point in the game, I'm very, very happy with the graphical look. So Bluepoint Games and Japan Studio have done something really interesting in this game. They've given two kinds of modes to play the game in. There's performance mode, and that allows you to play the game in full 60 frames, you know, up to 60 frames a second, which is very smooth, very nice looking. Then there's cinematic mode, which is, you know, offers a higher resolution, but they have to kind of bump the frame rate down to 30 frames a second. So it's up to you what you want to do. If you just want to have performance mode and have it really silky smooth and play with that beautiful 60 frames a second, you can do that. Or if you just want really stunning high-res graphics, you can lower the frame rate to about 30. And to be honest with you, even at 30, which I played it in, I tested both modes, I thought was just absolutely perfect. And I got to the first Colossus, and you know, you go out, you're riding on your horse, and you're putting up your sword and shining it off into the distance to figure out where to go next, and then you led to the first Colossus, and it's just stupendous. And I was like, wow. And you know, it's funny, in recollection, thinking back, they've really done a little bit more with this game. I thought the controls were a little bit tighter in this. I've had frustrating moments with the old Shadow of the Colossus games. In fact, it's kind of a classic moment that I smashed my controller for the PS3 version. I was getting so frustrated climbing up this Colossus at one point. I kept falling off, and I just grabbed my controller and smashed it into the ground like a barbarian maniac. I'm not proud of it, but I did it. We've all been there. I lost a controller to Shadow of the Colossus years ago, but for anybody out there who's played the last games and they like them and they want some more, you're not going to be disappointed in this game at all. Now we get to Lost Sphear, and this game is available on PS4, on the Switch, and on PC. What do I think about it? It's by Tokyo RPG Factory, the same in-house studio that created Am Setsuna last year, and this is kind of, if you want to call it, a spiritual successor to that game, and that game was not a bad game. It was okay. It was not bad. How is this game? Let's talk visuals. Let's get that out of the way. The visuals are silky smooth, beautiful vistas. I was not unhappy at all. And what do I want to say about this game? This game is really about your characters interacting with each other, going on RPG quests, doing a lot of side quests. Obviously you're going out into the world, and the world is really vast. It's a little smaller at first, and then you can venture out as you go along. And there's different towns to go in, different caverns to explore, different monsters to fight, and it's an active time battle system. So you have a little meter building up beside your character, and then when that meter is full, that's when your character can attack, and you can use a whole bunch of different skills and weapons and all that. So you can kill monsters, gain money, go to stores, upgrade equipment. It is the stereotypical RPG. And is that a bad thing? No, it isn't. This is a very competent RPG. It is what I call a very unoffensive RPG, in the sense that it does everything right. It does all the RPG bits right, all the quests, all the upgrading equipment, buying new items. It does all these things really, really well. And it's a great average RPG. It's not bad. I got nothing bad to say about it. The music is totally adequate. The game is a lot of fun. If you're looking for an RPG on the Switch, PS4, or PC, I don't think you'll be upset about this game. It harkens back to the old days of Chrono Trigger, those types of games. And for me, I find the game just kind of hits the average mark. It's a lot of fun to play. I do not dislike the game. I'm not absolutely blown away by it. It doesn't step beyond itself. It steps within its own RPG-ness of past games that we've seen before. But that is not a bad thing. I'm a huge RPG player. I'd recommend that game. It's like a 7 out of 10. And I think that's a great score for the game. It's not one of these blockbuster AAA games that you're like, oh my god, look at the cinematics and all that. It's not one of those types of games. You're not going to be blown away in that factor. But I think you'll be blown away with that there's a big quest in here. There's, 40 hours of gameplay doing all of the side quests. And that's a meaty game. That's a good game. That's a good RPG game for a lot of players out there. So it's up to you guys if you're interested in this style of game. I really like the game. I was playing it, I was like, I'm having a good time. My wife comes in, she's like, wow, this is really beautiful. And it's like, yes, it is. It is a really nice game. So what do you guys think? Are you guys looking forward to Shadow of the Colossus? Are you looking forward to Last Sphear? Tell me down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.